All right, how y'all doing today? My name's Kevin Helton. I appreciate everybody being here today. I know that you didn't have to be, and I do appreciate you definitely coming and helping me out here with my class. The reason I brought you all here today is because I'm in a public speaking class at Full Sail University. When I graduate, I want to become an athletic director at a college or a university, preferably D1, but I'll take whatever I can get. Currently, I'm an intern with an D3 college, so it's pretty intense. You know, there's some things that I'm really learning and stuff like that. And hopefully when I get done with this presentation, I kind of show you what the public speaking has done for me on what I want to do with my career. So moving right along. We were asked at the beginning of this class to start with some of our strengths and some of our weaknesses and goals. And one of my strengths that I feel like is I'm a decent speaker. I feel like if you give me the right topic and something that I know about, I can talk to anybody. In the military, I've talked to people as low as privates all the way up to generals of the Army when they came out to us. And the way I look at it is they all put their pants on the same way I do. And that's the easiest way for me to talk to somebody. Because if I sit there and I look at you and I know that you put your pants on the same way I put mine on, I'm humanizing you. And that's all it is. It's treat everybody like you want to be treated, basically. So that's how I feel like I can talk to everybody, and it makes me a decent speaker. Not great. I'm just hoping to get better. That's really what I'm after. And then the second bullet on there is storytelling ability. Now again, all my knowledge is with the military. Now if I was doing a presentation on entering and clearing rooms, I could stack you all up against this wall right here. I could tell you how to, bound into this room and clear this entire room. And I could go into some of my personal stories of how this has worked out for me, good and bad, during some of my personal experiences. Now, I'm not going to do that to you all because obviously that's not why you came here, right? But I feel like the right topic, and with me wanting to become an athletic director, I feel like I can tie in my sports knowledge with whoever I'm talking to. And then the last but not least on the slide is I'm not a monotone speaker. And I know we've all sat around and we've heard the guy that sounds like he's on a commercial for the Clear Eyes, right? Nobody really wants to sit and listen to a 4 to 6 minute speech for that. It's like, oh my goodness, this is taking forever. So I don't have a soothing voice to the ear, but I don't feel like I have that very dry, monotone voice and you're just waiting for me to get done type thing. So I think that does help me as well. Now, some of my weaknesses. I had to think on some of my weaknesses as well. And it's very hard to self-reflect as far as when you're looking at yourself as far as everything goes. What are you good at? What are you bad at? And you really have to think about it. And as far as some of my weaknesses goes, during this class there was a visuals, talking about the visuals. And they're talking about visual effects. And on one of the TED Talks, it was one of the speakers, he used a balloon as one of his visuals. It was really interesting because he had everyone in the audience blow up a balloon. And that was his thought bubble, right? Well, once you let the balloon go, it's kind of cool because there's 50 balloons just flying all around the room. But you just lost your thought, right? That's you losing your idea. Well, then he had a second balloon, he blew it up, right? And just tied it off. Which is essentially just writing down your thoughts, right? Just so you don't lose it. That was a great way of using visual effects. I thought it was awesome. I thought, that's excellent. If I ever get into a situation where I could use that, it would be great. I really couldn't have you all here with balloons today because it doesn't really tie in with my presentation. So I've got to try to figure out what I can use for visual effects because, let's face it, visual effects does help a lot of people learn. You've got different types of learning styles, and that's one of them. So if I could incorporate that with it, it would definitely help. And then my other weakness was where I was in the military, we were taught to do this, right, basically. It's death by PowerPoint, and I'm just reading to you like this, not ever engaging you as a crowd or as an audience. There's no real personal level there if I do that. If I'm sitting here and I'm just reading from the slides, well, one, you all can read, right? Everybody can read. So there's no sense in me actually reading it to you. If that was the case, all I'd have to do is go, here's a slide, there's a slide, there's a slide, there's a slide, and just let you read for yourselves. That's not why you would go to a presentation. No one goes to a presentation to read. If you want to read, you just sit down by a fire, read a book, right? something you actually want to do, right? So there's I've had to take myself away from that. I felt like that was something that I would do a little bit too much of. So it's actually working out well for me because where I'm still in the military, I can incorporate this with my soldiers. And hopefully they'll get something out of it. The next thing is, what are some goals that we're looking for? And some of the goals that I definitely have is, starting out, I say a lot. And I hope I haven't done it today. I'll know whenever I go back and rewatch this. But a lot of times, when my brain's just moving 90 miles an hour, and I'm trying to let my mouth catch up to my brain. And what's the common thing I do is I'm. Well, as you as the audience, what does that make you think? A couple things probably. One, either A, I don't know what I'm talking about, or two, it's just like you're wondering when's the next time I'm going to say You're over there slapping his shoulder like, all right, 5 more minutes. He'll say like 37 times. And then you're counting them. How many times am I going to say it? And then you got drink bets going on or whatever the case may be. I've done it. Whenever someone has a catchword that they're on, you catch on to that catchword, and that's all you focus on. You haven't heard anything else that I've talked about for the past however long I've been up here. All you worry about is that one particular word. And you're like, when's he going to say it again? I know he's going to do it. And then once I say again, I'll notice the crowd starts snickering. So that's definitely one thing I try to catch myself from doing. And try to, steer clear of it. I'm sure I'll still, do it some more, but hopefully I'm getting better with it. And another thing that a goal that I want to have is I want everything to flow. My biggest thing is I never want to talk to anyone and sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. I want to make everything flow from the start to the finish, to where when you leave there, you may not agree with anything that I said. There's going to be those times where you just have disagreements with people. But you can say, you know what though? The guy knew what he was talking about. He stuck to his guns. And from point A to point Z, he had all of his ducks in a row. And that's what I want. I want everything to flow and flow smoothly. And that way I can get my point across. Whether I'm trying to argue for more funding with with the dean or the president of the school. If I could argue to grab some more funds. Or whether I'm talking to the football coach and the basketball coach, and they're wondering why I'm allotting X amount of funds to this side and not X amount to this side. I want to have everything laid out to where I can say, well, that's great. It's a great question, Coach. Here's this, 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 and this. And here's this, 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 and this. So that's another thing why I believe this public speaking class is going to help me so much. Because as an athletic director, let's face it, there's going to be times where, as I stated, I'm going to be talking to the dean or the president of the school. Or I'm going to have groups as this size right here. I could have all the coaches from all the different, programs that we have. And you're talking about soccer, basketball, volleyball, golf, football, all of them. And men's and women's on something. So you have all those different coaches in here. And then there could be a situation where I'm standing in front of a committee, NCAA, for instance, and I'm having to talk to them about something. So the only way that I'm going to get better with public speaking is obviously do it. So anytime that I get a chance to actually speak in front of people, I'm going to try to step up and do it. I'm not going to say I'm going to do it all the time because I'm not going to lie to you, but I want to do it more. And I started this past drill during my Army weekend. Someone had to step up and do a PMI on weapons. I'm not going to get into all that, but they needed an NCO to do it, so I was like, sure, I'll do it. I'm going to be having several people of groups of 30 to 50 people, several groups coming through that I'm going to have to stand in front of, and I'm going to have to talk to them. Now, granted, it's something that I know about, so it's going to be a lot easier. It's always easier when you know, but every time I get to do it, it's always more and more practice. But I appreciate you all coming. Thank you all so much.